Hi guys, welcome to a new series on my DBZ Cuban Talks channel. This series is kind of where I do like random top 10, like for example, random top 10 favorite Pokemon, top 10 favorite colors, maybe something like that. And today I'm gonna do my top 10 favorite animes of all time. By the way, all the videos and pictures that I show in this video, I do not own myself. I either got them online or from Google. I'll try my best to link the original image on the description box below. Also, this list is based on my opinion. You don't have to agree with it. If you think something's better, then leave it down in the comment section down below. And if there's an anime that I haven't checked out and that you guys completely love and appreciate it, I'll try checking it out sometime. And I would appreciate that a lot. And let's just dive in with the list. For number 10, I put Fairy Tail. The reason why I put Fairy Tail on number 10 was because Fairy Tail holds a special place in my heart. Fairy Tail was, I believe, the 5th anime I have ever watched in all my life. Dragon Ball Z was the first one that actually started me getting into anime. And then after that was Naruto, then One Piece, then Bleach. And then after that was Fairy Tail. I actually started watching Fairy Tail somewhere around where Fairy Tail started getting popular. And one of the reasons why I like it so much is because I like the shonen genre about it. I like how it follows the shonen genre about it. How the main character has to find his dad or something like that. Like for example, Natsu has to find Igneel. I like that kind of theme, but then it also has some other themes. Like it has a lot of side characters that are very important. For example, Laxus, Gagio, which is my favorite character. One of my favorite characters of all time, actually, because I love anti-heroes. I love people who were evil at one point and then switched over to being good. I love that genre of heroes. And Gagio just fits in perfectly for that genre. Also Laxus, but I mean, like, Gagio is, Gagio. I just can't, I can't help it when it comes to Gagio. But Fairy Tail also holds characters like Gildarts, Gagio, Mystagon, Erza, Gray, characters like that. And also it holds villains like Akinogia, Zeref, and people such like that are so fucking badass. Like Akinogia was one of the characters I feared most of all time. Like that huge ass motherfucking dragon. Dude, that bitch was fucking scary as shit. Whenever I see him in the scene, or I remember the scene where I first saw him, my eyes like opened up so wide. I was like, what the actual fuck is this, dude? That episode was so mad hype. I'm like, where did this nigga come from? Holy shit! And then I love dragons, and then the Dragon Slayers. Oh my god, I love Cobra. I know he's so underestimated, and he's so left behind, but Cobra is an animal. You think about it, fucking Cobra can like solo some people without freaking... Some people in Fairy Tail, for example, he could probably solo even Juvia with both of his eyes closed. He can solo Juvia with both of his eyes closed. That's how OP Cobra is. Like, people underestimate Cobra. And Laxus, and then there's freaking Gagio. And then I love Sting and Rogue. Oh, I love those two. I know a lot of people hate on them because, obviously they're fucking trash and they're nothing. They're just wannabes and stuff like that. But you know what? It's just the concept of Dragon Slayers is just incredibly like unique and like it's a nice concept. There's nothing more I could say about that. And the reason why it's so low, it's just the bullshit that comes out of Fairy Tail. Like, they pull so many ass pulls from Fairy Tail. Like, oh, Nakama power this, Nakama power that. With the power of friendship this, with the power of friendship that. That's the only thing that holds Fairy Tail back from me. It's just the bullshit they pull out of nowhere. But then again, it's a shonen anime. I mean, all shonen animes do this in some sort of way. But I mean, without that, this anime would probably be higher in the list, but it has its flaws, but it's still a pretty decent anime. And honestly, this list was very hard to make. I had like 5 lists before making this one. And let's dive in for number 9. My number 9 top favorite anime is One Piece. And the reason why One Piece is number 9 is because One Piece has such a huge story, and it goes in depth in a lot of important topics about the world. It goes through slavery, and it shows you how dark slavery is, and that slavery actually still happens today in some places, which is very, 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 very sad. And it shows you how dark and cruel slavery was and still is. And it also shows you how corrupt the government can be. Like, One Piece always shows, well, One Piece likes to show that the Marines are sometimes bad. It's not the best thing out there. And sometimes pirates are actually the good guys. Sometimes gangs can be good people. For example, the Yakuza in Japan, sometimes they like to help out people during mass disasters, natural disasters like tsunamis, earthquakes, stuff like that. The Yakuza jump in and they like to help the people and stuff like that. So One Piece goes through that in depth sometimes, actually. Like, for example, with the Alabasta arc, it shows you that the government, with the Alabasta and the Dressrosa arc, they're kind of similar if you think about it, where they show the government knows that they're funding a corrupt person. For example, the warlords, they know that they're corrupt, but they let them be corrupt and they let them do whatever they want because they're important to the government. That's why. For example, Crocodile was one of the Shichibukai, one of the warlords, and the government didn't want to ruin that, and the government needed him because the Shichibukai play an important role with the Marines fighting against pirates and stuff like that, because they have to follow some of the rules that the government have set up for them, and they help them go against, for example, during the Whitebeard War, the Shichibukai was forced to help and fight against Whitebeard during Marineford. Also, I like what One Piece does is when it introduces a new character. It always shows their past, and each character has a certain past that shows a certain topic. For example, Usopp was kind of an orphan, and it showed that he was traumatized from being alone, that he always wanted attention from people, so he started lying and stuff like that, and started telling stories and telling fibs and stuff like that to get people's attention. It goes through that topic in depth, in really nice depth, and I like that about One Piece. And then Zoro, it shows the tragedy of losing a friend at an early age, a friend, dying, and it was a close friend, and they each shared the same goal to become the greatest swordsman. It was kind of like a rival and a friend, and to lose someone like that is very hard. And it shows you how he grew up. It drives him more to become the strongest swordsman because he promised that one of them was going to be strongest swordsman. And also, One Piece has amazing scenes, like when Zoro took on Kuma, and he took all the pain for Luffy because he was protecting his captain. And the relationship between the crew is just amazing. I love the relationship between the crew, and I just love how Oda tells the story. Honestly, if anyone else was telling the story, it wouldn't be this good. Because, One Piece, yeah, it has a nice story. There's a person that wants to be the Pirate King, and yeah, they set off an adventure, and each of them have their dreams. But I don't think anyone can do better than what Oda has done. Go in depth about their past story and their past life, and each of them have their own topics. Nami being a slave to Arlong pirates, Sanji going through starvation, and then Zeph gave him all his food when he thought Zeph has his food too. Or Zeph had his own food, but no, Zeph was starving the whole entire time while Sanji actually was eating. And it was just, it just goes so much in depth, and it goes through so many topics, and it just shows you so much. My number 8 top 10 favorite anime is Moggy. The reason why Moggy is on number 8 is because Moggy has an amazing story, and it goes through the adventure of Aladdin with Alibaba and Morgiana, which used to be a slave, Aladdin that used to be a child who is a Moggy, who just was brought into the world, who was actually sealed away, who just escaped captivity just recently with his friend Uvakun. And Alibaba is a prince who decides to walk away from his throne and go set out and become rich on his own. And Alibaba and Aladdin meet together. They become best of friends right away. And the anime actually mainly revolves around this huge world where there's different countries, and these countries kind of fight for power, and their way of fighting for power is whoever conquers the most dungeons. and after you conquer a dungeon, you gain incredible wealth, and you become a king vessel. You become a king vessel after you conquer a dungeon. And some Moggys go around and they choose some people to become their king vessel, and they chose them to conquer the dungeon. And after you become a king vessel, you got this dungeon. I don't know how to exactly pronounce it. It's like a dungeon, and you can equip this dungeon, and you gain mass power. So the more dungeon you have, the more mass power you have, the more power you have, the more status you have. And this is kind of where the world is revolved on. There's some people who are very corrupt and some evil. There's some organizations on the side who they stick their dirty hands in some countries, and they corrupt some countries, and they destroy other countries and stuff like that. And it's up to the heroes of the story to stop that corruption from happening and to help better the world. I like this anime because it goes through a lot of topics that are actually occurring in the real world. Slavery sometimes still occurs, and the anime actually goes into slavery very, very deep. It shows the truth of slavery, of like Morgiana's past, how she was beaten, and it's hinted that she was raped by her captors and stuff like that, and her whole entire race is actually into slavery. If they're not slaves, then they're actually high up soldiers in some countries. Some of them are actually, well, most of them are household members. And the anime also goes around the topic about war, and it shows how gruesome war can be at times, and it shows that sometimes people have war over pointless reasons. Sometimes people cause war just for fun. Sometimes some people cause war for economic reasons, and the anime goes into it very deep. And I just like how it just shows you the issues of the real world. And I love anime that goes into the ethical and philosophical topics like that. Plus, the anime has very, very good animation, and it's done very well, and it's paced very well too as well. There's a few times where it's slow paced, but other than that, it's great pacing, it's great animation, great music, great OST, incredible soundtrack, and also great characters and all that stuff. It goes into a lot of characters, and it introduces a lot of characters, and it goes into characters and a lot of depth. It makes you care about a lot of characters. Not many anime go into this many characters in so much depth. Many animes have either one character where they go all in into, or they have a few where they go into some, but they don't go fully into them. Unlike Moggy, that actually goes into all of them and deeply. My number 7 top favorite anime of my top 10 favorite animes of all time is actually Kuroko No Basket. Now, this is where we're getting to actual anime where I actually really like. Kuroko No Basket is, I'm sorry, but in my opinion, this is just my opinion. You can have a different opinion. I don't mind about you having a different opinion. But in my opinion, is one of the best sports anime ever done. Like, I haven't seen any anime like this. Like, it's a sports anime and it makes you care. Like, it's so awesome. It's badass. Just the characters, the generation of miracles. I love the Uncrowned Kings. I don't know why, but I just fanboy over the Uncrowned Kings. I know the Generation of Miracles. I just think they're so mainstream. The Uncrowned Kings are very interesting. I just love them all. I love freaking... Oh, dude, I can't remember their names now. I freaking love Leo, I think it was his name. And then I like the guy who dribbles like really fast. And I like the guy who's the center for Rakuzan, Akashi's team. And Kuroko No Basket, it's kind of overboard in some parts. Like, it's like, what the fuck am I watching? This is an anime about basketball? Like, this is unrealistic. But it's done so flawlessly and so nice. Like, you forget about it. You forget you're watching an anime about basketball. Like, I know when you first hear about it, like, even I had doubts about it. Even myself, once I started watching it and once I got into it, I know it was a little hard to get into in the beginning, but after you start facing the first Generation of Miracles, which was Kisuke, one of my favorite of the gen, like, he is so powerful now I think about it. Kisuke's broken, just saying, but he was one of the weakest at the time. That's when it starts getting interesting. But then after that, you hit Ayomi. And Ayomi is, oh my god, dude, when you first see him, you're like, what the fuck? And he, like, the moves that this person has is just phenomenal, and you're like, holy shit, this is a completely different level, and it starts getting interesting from there. Midoriya's interesting, but he did not have a lot of character development to himself. He was vice captain of the Generation of Miracles, and Akashi was obviously the captain. Him and Takayo, it's just, their combination was beautiful. In one episode later on, and further into it, their teamwork is just excellent, and it's funny to think about it, but in the past, they were actually rivals, and Takayo actually hated him. But eventually, they become a team, and they actually became friends, and they bonded, and now they actually work together, and it's flawless how they work together. This anime just has so much character development, and it's badass. The animation is nice, the music is just perfect, and the story and the plot is just amazing. And the morality of the anime is awesome. It's awesome. I don't want to spoil the anime much, but you must definitely watch this anime. Like, this is one of my well, it's on my list, but like this anime, like when I was first watching it, I was so mad hyped for it. Like, I was just insane. Actually, I reacted to it. It was one of my first reactions in my old channel, so you should check that out. I'll probably leave the link down below. And I definitely recommend this anime. You should definitely check it out. My number 6 for my top 10 favorite anime is actually the Fate Zero and Fate Stay Night trilogy, for only one reason. And that is one character called Ryder. Just kidding. I actually like the anime because it goes very deep. It introduced a lot of characters. It makes you care about like characters. I also like Archer in Fate Stay Night. I also adore Kiritsugu from the first Fate Zero. I like him. I love Waver. I just love so many characters from this series, because it's actually an anime series, and I believe there's going to be a season 3. I don't know what it is. I try not to look much into it because I don't want to be spoiled, but there has to be a season 3, because at the end of Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works, there was a little scene with Emiya and Waver, where they kind of like talked and all this stuff, and I feel like that's like hyping up to like a new Holy Grail War, but I don't think there would be a third. No, I don't think there would be another Holy Grail War. I mean, they kind of ended it, right? Or we assumed they ended it. I guess not. I mean, hopefully there's a season 3. But I mean, I don't think they would have ended it like that. And I don't want to spoil it too much, but I recommend this anime. I recommend this anime a lot. This anime has amazing animation. I think it has one of the best for its time. Like, I haven't seen any animation. I don't think this thing. I don't think you can compare any animation to Fate Zero for its time. Like, it was the best of the best. And same thing goes for Fate Stay Night. The pacing was slow on sometimes, but that's because it likes to talk a lot. It likes to go in depth a lot, and it likes to show a lot of philosophies and stuff like that. What's interesting is each character in Fate Zero, each character had their own philosophy and why they wanted the Holy Grail, which I loved. Each character wanted the Holy Grail for their own thing. Ryder wanted the Holy Grail because he wanted to achieve his goal, his dream, to reach the sea, the ocean. I forgot the name of the ocean, but that was his dream. Saber wanted to achieve the Holy Grail so she could go back and serve her people more. She felt bad for what happened to her people after she died. And each of them had their own like reason for the Holy Grail. Each of them, even their masters had their own reason for the Holy Grail. Some of them was for fame, some of them was for fortune, stuff like that, you know. Some of them was because their family, it was for their family name to own it, to conquer it, or at least they believed so. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, the Holy Grail War is a war for the Holy Grail. And once you get the Holy Grail grants you any wish you want. And that's what technically the Holy Grail was. But I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to go much into it. But let's just say there's a lot of plot twists into that story, if you know what I mean, for those of you who have seen it. But I entirely recommend it. The story is very interesting. It's just hard to get into. It's more of an adult anime than more of a child anime. I don't know, like teens. That's an if. Like if you're a teenager, you might like it. You might not. but I personally liked it. I enjoyed the philosophy in it. I enjoyed the animation, the story, the OST was great. Just the characters were great, and it was just a blast to watch, especially Fate Stay Night. Fate Stay Night was a blast to watch. Fate Zero is more about philosophy and stuff like that. If I would recommend which one to watch first, I think you should watch Fate Zero first and then watch Fate Stay Night. Because Fate Zero, if you watch Fate Stay Night, like, it would be okay, I guess, but you would be missing very important plots. Like, most of my friends, they watch Fate Stay Night first, but me and my friend Omer, we've watched Fate Zero first, and then we got into Fate Stay Night. And it was so much better to watch it like that. Trust me, we kept telling our friends, we were like, you need to watch Fate Zero. You need to watch Fate Zero. You're missing out. You don't understand important, like, topics and stuff like that. You're missing out. So I recommend you watch this anime, like, entirely. It's just, it was a blast to watch. That's all. My number 5 top 10 favorite anime, and this is when we're actually getting to the godly animes, because this is the top 5 favorite animes of all time, is One Punch Man. Must I give a reason why this thing is on my list of top favorite animes of all time? Dude, this anime came in with a whopping, like, freaking amazing, like, it's the hype train was fucking there. It was just amazing. Every single episode, everyone was singing the song, One Punch! Isho! Yo, that shit was freaking hyped. And it completely deserved the hype, dude. The animation was flawless. It was nothing more but flawless and smooth and just beautiful in some scenes. Obviously, in other scenes, it was just plain, but that's because of the how the art is drawn that sometimes in the manga. It was very fitting. And the manga, dude, some of the pages you can use it as fucking wallpaper, as fucking posters, it's fucking beautiful. And the studio did a good job to represent that. Like, I give applause to the studio, because to make an anime to compete with the artwork that manga has is impressive. Like, the artwork for the manga is actually better than most animes. And I'm saying most, almost all animes. It's just impressive. Obviously, the story of One Punch Man revolves around a guy who literally one punches everything. I know it sounds plain for some of you guys who haven't seen this series, but it's completely worth it, especially with the side characters. The side characters make the story actually important. The villains as well also, like, add, plot to the story and all this stuff. And it's just comedic, and it's just a blast to watch. It's just when you want to sit down and have a laugh, just watch it. Like, honestly, not one episode failed me to laugh. Now, this wasn't an anime if you want to cry or you want to be dramatic or anything like that. It's not so much that, except for Moon Rider. That's the only thing. The side characters are mainly for that, but if you want to, like, comedic relief, you want to laugh a little time and have a blast while watching animes with friends, you gotta watch One Punch Man. I completely recommend that. My number 4 top 10 favorite anime, and this has actually surprised me that I actually put it this high in the list, is Seven Deadly Sins. I completely forgot about this anime, but once I started thinking about it, it was impossible to not, like, put it this up high. Seven Deadly Sins is such a beautiful anime. It has amazing artwork. It's funny. It has that Shonen Jump tone to it, but it also has that serious, like, background, like Moggy and some other animes have. Like, as that philosophical topics. It also shows many moral topics, and it goes very in deep in these things and very moral questions and stuff like that. And it's just also a blast to watch, and just the story and the characters is just amazing. Bon, like, his past is just amazing. King, his past is amazing, and now he's in love with Diana. I mean, that's kind of obvious. You guys will find out if you haven't seen the anime. The anime is on Netflix, so it's almost impossible. I think almost anyone has watched it if it's on Netflix. But if you haven't watched it, I recommend it. It's a great story. It's a great adventure. And later on, and it's going to get a season 2, I believe, soon this year. And I'm going to do live reactions of that. So, mad hype for that, dude. Oh my god, dude. I got goosebumps. I'm mad hype for that shit. Dude, I can't wait till 7 Deadly Sins come out. And I can't wait to watch it and react to it with you guys. What happens in the future is where it gets good. I mean, season 1 was kind of boring for you and stuff, but what happens now in the manga, what's happening now in the manga is mad fucking crazy. You need a fucking, like, oh my god, if it's not shown in season 2, you need to read the manga. Just saying, it's completely worth it. If you're not much of a manga person, then just wait for it until it comes in. And that's it. Now this is where we get to the big 3. Now these three animes have never changed ever since I started watching them on the list. They've always been a staple on my list. All the other animes, they've been changing back and forth. You know, sometimes it changes with my mood. Sometimes Kuroko No Basket's higher, sometimes Fate Zero's lower, sometimes Parasite's on the list, sometimes it's not, you know, stuff like that. But these 3 are always on the same position on this list. These 3 have always been my favorite, and it's just, I love these animes. These 3 animes are my favorite. Number 3 is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Just the whole fucking series, not Diamond is Unbreakable, the whole fucking series. Season 1 was amazing with Dio and fucking Jonathan. Season 2 with Joseph was one of my favorite freaking seasons just because the villains, Cars was a fucking badass villain. He became a god. He practically became a god. And we got more in depth with the past, with the vampires and all that stuff. Season 3 introduced Stand, a completely new ability. And it kind of negated Hamon, which was kind of weird. But Season 3 had Jotaro, and it brought back the fucking villain. Dude, this series is just beautiful. I just like how it's completely unique, okay? This series is about generation of a family, like different generations of families. Like, it's just amazing how we go through the generations and stuff like that. And still the other JoJos, they're still relevant in sometimes. It's kind of a reoccurring theme and stuff like that. Some of the characters from the past, and it's just amazing how the series just progresses and progresses. And it's still, it's a big, huge world, and it's just, it's interesting. Like, there's no anime that can actually repeat this. If you have not watched this anime, I recommend it. I know I say this for almost all the animes, but I recommend this fucking anime. You should watch it. No, you need to watch it. Not should. You need to watch this anime. This anime is just great. You'll have a blast watching it. It's an amazing adventure. It has badass scenes. It has badass fucking villains. It's hilarious. It's funny to make fun of the animation. It's just alright, you might have an issue with the animation at first, but you'll eventually get used to it. But the reason why it's so crappy and hilarious is because the manga's old. But they like to make fun of themselves because it's so bad. Like, they like to dramatize scenes. Just to make it funny. Like, I don't know if they do it on purpose or not, but it's just hilarious to watch. And dude, it's just sick, and it's just, like, why wouldn't you have this, like, anime? Why wouldn't you watch this anime? My number 2 top 10 favorite animes of all time is Hunter x Hunter. This anime is beautiful. The adventure in this anime, the exploration, the story is just amazing. The characters are amazing. The side characters, the villains, everything's fucking amazing. And plus, this anime has one of the saddest scenes ever. I'm not going to spoil it for you guys who have not watched it, but it made me cry. And I'm going to hint it for you guys who have seen it. I'm just going to say this. Kumugi. There. That's all I'm saying. Kumugi. That's all I'm saying. That should hint it enough. If you have not watched this anime, you should watch it. This anime is fucking beautiful. The OST is beautiful. The animation is beautiful. The story is beautiful. The character is beautiful. Everything's fucking amazing. It's just fucking great, and it's always a blast to watch. It's a little childish at some parts, but then once you get to the Chimera Ant arc, that's where shit gets fucking real. That's where shit, like, oh my god, it gets dark. It, like, real quick. It gets dark real quick. Same thing with the Phantom Trophy arc. That was extremely dark as well. Those 2 arcs were my favorites so far, but the arc that we're in right now, getting into the fucking Dark Continent, dude, oh my god, it's so fucking crazy. And it's just sad that fucking Togashi might die before we actually get to finally see the fucking ending. Before we actually even get to the fucking Dark Continent at this fucking rate, like, for real. Oh my god, and Leorio was a fucking badass, dude. Kurapika, I keep calling him or her because he looks like a fucking girl. I know it's a guy, I don't fucking care. I was watching this anime when it first came out, and I was like, wow, this is impressive. This is anime. Because at first it was slow and all that stuff. Then once it gets to the Chimera Ant arc, I was like, shit. No, the Phantom Trophy arc is what got me into it. I was actually watching that at my grandpa's house. That's actually a story I should save up for another time. Maybe a Q&A or something like that. But I was living in with my grandpa for like a short time, and that's when I was watching on his computer. When I was watching Phantom Trophy, and I had to rush because he was bitching and something like that. It's a long story, but oh yeah, he made fun of me because he thought I was watching like demons or some shit like that. That's what it was. He thought I was watching like demons because it was this one scene with what was his name? Leech. He was one of the assassins that was hired to kill Uvikun, or not Uvikun, fucking what's his name? The one dude who's a fucking enhancer. I forgot his name, but he was hired to kill him, and then fucking Uvikun or fucking like bit his fucking head off or some shit like that and started eating it. Yeah, I forgot. It was something similar to that, but yeah, I got judged because of that, but I don't fucking care because that anime was fucking completely worth it. It was worth waiting for it. It was worth getting made fun of. Dude, this anime is fucking sick. And it's number 2. It's my second favorite anime. It's just there, you know. Now you know that now you know what's my second favorite anime. Dude, when you talk about Hunter x Hunter, man, like I could talk about Hunter x Hunter for days, but I don't want this video to be so long. I try to make these like 2 minutes each. But yeah, I definitely recommend it. It's on Netflix. I don't think it's dubbed yet, but it's on Netflix. It's slow, but trust me, it's completely worth the whole slow parts. You should watch it. And the number 1, the only, my top favorite anime of all time. I wonder if you guys can guess it. It's obviously fucking Dragon Ball Z. I fucking love this show. This show is what got me into fucking anime. It all started with me on my PlayStation 3 being bored. I saw this demo for this one game. It was Raging Blast number 1. It was the first Raging Blast. I started playing it with my cousin and was like, oh, this game's fun. And then at the same time that I was playing that demo, a new series came out on Nickelodeon, which I was watching Nickelodeon because of this one show called Avatar: The Last Airbender. But right, another similar show to it was Dragon Ball Z Kai. And I was like, you know what, let's watch it. And the music was just amazing that they did for Kai. The animation was nice. I like how they remastered it. But once I got caught up with Kai, which was in the middle of the Friesen saga, when no, I was watching it by episode, but then I started like, you know what, I want to watch the rest of it. Like, I've been so behind. I was watching it on Toonami. Like, I know some parts of Dragon Ball Z. I bought the game, so I know the story. And I was like, I was remembering like bits and parts of it. I was like, you know what, I've seen this anime before. And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna look it up online. And I watched it. Oh, from Dragon Ball. I actually started from Dragon Ball. I started from Dragon Ball. I'm like, I haven't seen Dragon Ball. Like, and then I thought about it. I actually saw bits and parts of Dragon Ball. I saw like Tien. I saw like Goku versus Tien. I saw Goku versus Piccolo and old King Piccolo and stuff like that. But I haven't watched it. So I watched all from Dragon Ball all the way to the end of Dragon Ball Z. And I watched all the movies. I became a fanboy. Like, I went hardcore. I would watch this on a daily basis, like right after school. I think this was sometime during like during middle school it was. Wow, dude, that was such a long time ago. So it was like almost 10 years ago. 7 years ago, 7 years ago is when I got into anime. This is what started me getting into anime. I can't, like, just for nostalgic reasons, I can't put this lower than number 1, because this is what started this adventure. This amazing fandom, this amazing community of anime. It's just like, this is what started it. And obviously Dragon Ball Z is fucking godly. Battle of Gods was amazing. I remember when it first came out, I was mad hyped. I'm like, oh my god, Dragon Ball Z is gonna come back and all this stuff. There was rumors, and then it actually came back, and now we got Dragon Ball Super. Dragon Ball Super is a little slow paced, but I mean, like, it still has those badass scenes. Like, it's still Dragon Ball Z, and it still has those characters. It's still badass. But it just has those slow scenes where that's the only issue what I have. But then Dragon Ball Z also had slow scenes, but it was interesting. And the same thing with Dragon Ball Super. You know, slow scenes are kind of like comedic reliefs and interesting, and they go into detail and they have flashbacks and stuff like that. But I think what really got me into Dragon Ball Z was just how powerful they were, and I just always wanted to be just like them. I just, when playing the games, I was like, you know what, I always felt like, you know, I could do this. Like, I want to be like them. I want to throw a Kamehameha. I would sing along to the ending. Live your life like a Kamehameha. That was the Dragon Ball Z Kai ending, and it was just, dude, it was amazing. It was a blast to watch. I need to really start watching it. I'm actually gonna, maybe, when Dragon Ball Super, like, maybe has, like, a break or something like that, like, maybe it stops it for, like, a little while, I'll probably do reactions from, like, the beginning of Dragon Ball and do it on a daily basis, maybe something like that. It'll be nice to, like, rewatch Dragon Ball and all the way to catch up this Super, and then rewatch Super, something like that. It'll be nice to do that, and it's just, yeah, the story, the characters, I mean, like, some of the characters are thrown away now. It's just because Toriyama, like, or not Toriyama, the company doesn't even give a shit about them anymore. Like, Yamcha, fucking Chatsu isn't shown anymore. Fucking even Tien, we haven't seen Tien, like, ever. And Launch, like, they forgot about fucking Launch. Like, Launch hasn't been, like, Launch was fucking, like, shown in Dragon Ball Z filler. That's the only time we saw Launch ever since fucking Dragon Ball. It's just, Launch was, like, an important character. Like, we were like, oh, her and Tien were gonna hook up and shit like that. But no, nothing ever happened. But yeah, Dragon Ball Z is my favorite fucking anime. I mean, obviously, my name is DBZ Cuban. Like, what else would be my top favorite anime? Thanks, guys, for watching my video all the way to the end. I'm sorry if, like, the quality of the video wasn't so good, and the quality of my voice wasn't so good either. This is my first ever top 10, so I was a little bit nervous. I didn't know how to do about it, but I promise next week I'll try to do better. Next week I'll have my top 10 favorite top 10 favorite potential Alola form Pokemon for Pokemon Sun and Moon. Hopefully none of them get revealed. I'm gonna start making the list tomorrow, or maybe sometime tonight. Tomorrow or sometime tonight, and hopefully none of them get actually announced or some shit like that. Or it's announced that there's no longer going to be any Alola forms or some shit like that. It's going to be depressing if they announce that while I'm making this list. But I hope you guys actually like next week's list. I'm mad hyped for it. I can't wait to... It's going to be a blast doing research for this list. And I'm sorry that this week was kind of boring and dull and I didn't go much into it. And I was so unprofessional. It's just... It's my first top 10, and I was a little bit nervous. I didn't know how to do this, but I'll try to do the best. I try to get better at this. Again, this is fully my opinion. If you have a different top 10 list, please leave it in the comment section down below. I'll check it out. Maybe I'll do this again. Maybe sometime, maybe next year I'll do this on like a yearly basis or something like that. Or maybe every 5 months, 6 months I'll do it again, because there's always new animes that are coming out, stuff like that. And obviously, my list always constantly changing. I changed this list 4 freaking times before I actually made this one. So, honestly, some of these animes were very, very close. And, again, I don't own any of the artwork or any of the pictures or any of the videos that I showed in this video. It's all shown for visual representation, so I can show you what I'm kind of meaning. So, for you guys, I don't own any of this. You should definitely check out the animes that are shown on here. I definitely recommend that. And I'll see you guys next week with the next top 10 series. Check out my other channels in the description box below. Also follow me on my social media. They're also in the description box below. And please like and subscribe to this channel. I really appreciate the support on this channel if you do. And I'll see you guys next week with the next list. Bye, guys.